Let's look at the most excited thing to come out on television. I guess last Sunday now? It is after midnight as I'm recording this. Pickle Rick! Well, there was also this Game of Thrones thing, but who really cares about that? Now that I've got my one attempt at a joke over for this episode... Okay. Oh. I could give this prelude about how, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this video. And, maybe I'm getting sick of Rick and Morty, and maybe I need a little breather from it. But, fuck it, let's just do this. Starts off, Pickle Rick. Exactly how you expect, right? Pickle Rick. Oh, Rick turned himself into a pickle. Why? Why the fuck not? Ugh. So, the whole family's going to this whole group therapy thing, right? Because, they get called in by the school, but everyone has to go, right? And Rick obviously doesn't want to know, right? Doesn't want to go. So he turns himself into a pickle because... why not, right? Just fuck it, let's just turn ourselves into pickles because who cares? And he has this whole plan, right, where, they all leave for therapy, and then he's going to turn back into a human with this unrelated syringe of weird liquid, but Beth takes it, and he's just kind of trapped there as a pickle. So, he eventually gets attacked by a cat, which sends him outside. He almost dies. We get the one funny joke in the episode where he's like, this is the scientist equivalent of dying on the toilet. It's the only joke I laughed at. This episode's not funny, and that's not entirely a problem because it makes up for it. Because usually Rick and Morty does this thing where it doesn't have a point, right? Life is meaningless and all that jazz. But the point of every episode is comedy, right? That, we can be funny, right? We're going to tell a lot of good jokes. This episode does not have the point of comedy. This episode is trying to do action, right? It's trying to be cool, kick-ass action, and we'll get to that. But eventually, Rick gets washed away into the drain. He ends up in the sewer where he kills a cockroach, and somehow he's able to mess with his brain tissue to control it. I don't really understand. In a better, here's the thing about it, this show, is when the show is on its point, right? When it's doing its job right, you don't notice the science, how the science makes no goddamn sense. But this makes no goddamn sense, right? And usually I wouldn't notice, but I do notice in this one. It's the same thing with Something Rick This Way Comes. Not enough interesting is going on, so all the science fallacies just start piling up, right? And then we cut to the family, right? And their side plot, which doesn't really get that much attention until the end of the episode, which, okay. It's not a bad idea not to focus too much on the side plot. But they meet Dr. Wong, right? Because they're sent in for family therapy because Morty's peeing his pants and Summer's sniffing enamel or something. And she's played by Susan Sarandon, who does a fine job, right? I have no complaints. We see Pickle Rick, right? He's used all these cockroach limbs to give himself a body. He kills a rat, uses its brain to build like a giant, well, not giant, he's still a pickle after all. But he builds a rat suit with weapons, and he goes on a rampage with these weapons. He's got a breaking point. And yeah, this is the point, right? Action. And the action is really well done. It's really violent and really bloody, and it works really well. But that doesn't save the rest of the episode. So we see we cut back to the family, who is the doctor is like analyzing them, like, Why did Grandpa turn himself into a pickle? I don't know, because it's what he does. And the doctor's basically spot on with her analysis. Like, oh, you do this because of this, you do this because of this, right? There's this whole thing where it's, oh, do we know what's in the syringe? No. But do we think it's juice that will unturn him into a pickle? Right? Because she's kind of figured them out. We see Rick, right? He's killed all the rats. He kills their king or whatever. I feel like there's a reference in there that just completely went over my head. But he escapes the sewer. And now he's in this, like, maximum security place. You know, it's not a problem, right? How did he's like in Russia or, like, somewhere in Eastern Europe. How? He just fell into the sewer. What the... It doesn't matter. So, right, the people at the, this place want to kill him, right? They're having trouble killing a pickle. He's literally killed 2 of their men, right? He's just kicking ass, right? He makes this whole phone call about, oh, just let me out, right? He kills some more of them, which... It does get violent, and the gore, okay? There's this really good... the animation is also really good in this one, right? It's on point, there's a lot of detail, it's really well done. This is one of my favorite shots. But, remember back at the beginning of the season, they said, this is the darkest season of Rick and Morty ever. Oh, we're going dark, we're going right? This will be the darkest year of our adventures. Is this kind of... This is, I think, half of what they mean. Because this episode is dark. I mean, like, when I say dark, I think I mean fucked up. I mean, like, look at this. Look at this. I was honestly really tempted to make this the episode's thumbnail, but, yeah, no. Oh, God. So, yeah, it's... that's one way you can interpret it, and we'll get into more of the dark themes. But then, all of a sudden, we get this... I'm gonna call it a tonal shift, for lack of a better word. But all of a sudden, it feels like we were in an entirely different show. Because this guy walks up to a guy strapped to a chair, and who's named Jaguar, and is like, oh, if you go out there and kill this pickle... we'll set you free and you can reunite with your daughter. Oh, hoopla, and all this bullshit. It doesn't really fucking matter. But it feels like we're in an entirely different show. It's like we all of a sudden got transported to, I don't know, like 24 or some shit like that. I can't think of a good comparison right now. But yeah, no, it's just a complete tonal shift, which it does still make for some cool action, don't get me wrong, but it just kind of comes out of nowheres, and it felt like I was in the wrong show for a second. And then we cut back to the family therapist, and she there's this running joke about her being a doctor who helps people eat shit, or who helps people stop eating shit. It's not funny. I don't know why it's there. I mean, this is kind of... Okay, so, right, earlier on, she had her analysis, and it's spot on, right? She understands the family. But then this scene happens, and she kind of loses me, right? It's... Because there's just... It's not a funny joke. And then we cut back to Rick, because, again, the side plot doesn't mean anything until the end. And Rick fights Jaguar, and actually a really well done fight scene. It pushes on your suspension of disbelief a little. I mean, like, his weapon is literally powered by a AA battery, so yeah. Again, in a different episode, I probably wouldn't have even noticed it. But there is one more joke that did get a little giggle out of me. When he to fix himself up, he literally staples a pickle to himself. That's funny, right? But eventually we cut back to the guy in charge, and Rick kills Jaguar. And the guy's trying to negotiate. Oh, here, take the money, right? And Rick basically tells him to fuck off, right? That, oh, you're a lying sack of shit, fuck you, right? I feel like there's a metaphor in there, but I don't give a shit. Oh, God. And eventually, this guy betrays his other henchmen, and he goes to take a helicopter out. But instead, Jaguar is still alive, and him and Pickle Rick have teamed up. They steal the helicopter, run off, they blow up the building. It's a cool... Right? It's... The point of this episode, up until this moment, was action. And the action is really well done. But... I'm gonna get shit for this. Like, there's this thing in Rick and Morty where everything is pointless, right? Everything is nothing, right? Nothing means everything. Everything means nothing. Oh, we just do it because it's what we do, right? Monotony of life and all that jazz. They even bring it up here. But this episode, this part, kind of changes that. It starts off, right? Rick, throughout this episode, we get a line that's like, oh, Rick has no sense of attachment, right? Oh, his family means nothing to him. There's an infinite number of them. We've seen this in other episodes like the season 3 premiere, right? With Summer meaning nothing to him. Oh, it'd be easier if you kill her, right? You know what I'm talking about. And yeah, that's how this part starts off, right? Oh, because, yeah, Rick joins therapy, and he's like, oh, yeah, therapy means nothing to me. It's a waste of my time, right? Why would I cub here? What's the point? Oh, God. Ugh. But, God, my head. So the therapist talks, she sees right through Rick, right? The metaphor is your brain is the unmovable force, but it's also an unstoppable curse, right? You're both. You have no meaning in your life. You just keep going on these wild adventures, right? Oh, some of us get up and go to work, right? Another shit joke. It's not funny. But, oh, for you don't want any of that. You want wild adventures because it's all you want, right? You can't live a normal life. And I'm paraphrasing this to all hell. Really go check the episode out to get what she's fully saying. But my main point is that, okay, I understand them wanting to characterize Rick. That's not a problem, right? Having someone knock him down, which... It is interesting, right? In the last episode, I said that, he got knocked down, right? He loses, which we don't really see very often. And then he loses in this one. Yeah, sure, he technically escapes this government facility. He technically becomes a human again. He technically kicks ass, right? He wins, but when it comes to this therapist, he loses. The therapist sees right through him, and the therapist cuts him a new one, and he kind of is... Well, at first he's, like, irritated, but then as we see when they're heading back home in the car ride, it kind of got through to him, right? It's creating that sense of meaning, which, okay, Rick can do stuff, right? Again, back to saving Summer, right? The only reason he did that was for his own personal gain, right? The only reason he saved Earth and Get Swifty is because he's one of the idiots who lives on it, right? But in this episode, it doesn't feel like he's doing anything for personal gain. He's doing it because he's or at least trying to do something good. It's really kind of just comes out of nowheres, and I don't like it. I don't like it. God. It's not a bad episode. I still think it's enjoyable, right? It's entertaining. The action scenes are really well done. But this ending, I don't think it works. And it's more or less a tonal shift from the rest of the episode, which I don't have I'd like to think I don't have a problem with them doing something like this. The idea of Rick being deeper, right? The idea of him actually caring or trying to put effort into things, right? Him being torn down and not finding meaning, but at least trying to do stuff to distract him from meaninglessness, right? Because, wubba lubba dub dub and all that shit. But I'm torn. And I have to watch an episode 3 times to do one of these reviews. So every time I watched it again, I just was more and more disappointed in it. The jokes didn't... Okay, so the jokes didn't work as well. Like, I can watch an episode like Goodbye Moon Man, or Morty Night Run was the name of the episode. I've seen it probably more than any other episode. Roy is still funny on my first viewing, or on my 12th viewing as it was on the first, right? This episode didn't even last 3 viewings. So that's another thing I'm gonna get so much shit for this. Oh god, it's Star vs. the Forces of Evil Season 2 all over again. So, end credit scene. They have Conjurato? That's not... I'm pronouncing it wrong. I just have it written down. I don't remember how they pronounce it. Who is one of the things we see in the opening. This is clearly meant to be a joke or something like that, where they're about to be killed by his symphony of death or whatever, and then Jaguar comes in, kills the guy, and flies away because he's awesome, which I guess kind of. And yeah, that's where it ends. It's completely out of place from the rest of the episode, but it's not the worst thing ever. It's definitely not the worst thing in this episode. But yeah, that's the episode. I like the action, but I don't really like everything else. And, the idea of him being a pickle isn't even the worst one. I don't think I've released the Get Swifty review yet, but in that review, I talk about the fact that in the episode, I bet they just created the song, right? Get Swifty, and then they just decided to make an entire episode around it, right? One joke to structure an entire episode. Same thing here. They make one joke, right? Rick being a pickle, and then they decide to structure an episode around it. Which, sometimes it can work. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, I don't think this time it does. Even though the idea of Pickle Rick isn't a bad one. And I'm just rambling at this point. Next week we got The Vindicator 3 or some shit like that. I actually do know a thing or two about that one. Because, I'm complaining now. It might get a lot worse next week. Because according to Dan Harmon, in one of his podcast episodes, he said that this is the worst episode it's going to be. It is the worst episode of Rick and Morty to date. And he goes to blame himself, right? If I remember, I'll put a link to the I'll say which podcast number it is in the description below, but whatever. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave your hate comments in the comments below. Until next time, peace.